We're live now.
Well, greetings, ladies and gentlemen. This is Stephen Richardson speaking to you from beautiful Tracy, California. Let me just make absolutely sure that you can see me. Can you see me, Mr. Marco? There we go. All right, rock and rolling. This is Stephen Richardson speaking to you from beautiful Tracy, California in the San Francisco Bay Area. I am so fired up to be your featured presenter on tonight's edition on Conversations of Success, a global platform that is in place and has been rocking and rolling at this time on Sundays since 2008. I am so fired up to be your featured presenter. And I'm going to do something that I'm not sure has been done before, but I'm going to dedicate tonight's call. Tonight's call is dedicated to those organo distribution partners who are out there who are committed to the vision of organo, of bringing the treasures of the earth to the people of the world. Tonight's call is dedicated to those of you out there who are committed to the principles of organo, the principles of loyalty, unity, edification, honesty, integrity, transparency, not just sometimes, not just when things are going good, all day, everywhere, everything that we do, living the principles of organo. Most importantly, tonight's call is dedicated to those who are committed to the process. And if you are going to title tonight's call, feel free to title tonight's call, Committed to the Process. The proven process of success. Let me make sure, are we on? Are we on? We're on. There we go. All right. The proven process of success of properly exposing enough people, enough times, in a short enough period of time to identify those who allow us to help them with zero emotional connection to what others do or don't do, say or don't say. Now, I'll say that last one again. It was a mouthful. Tonight's call is most importantly dedicated to those of you out there who are committed to the process, the proven process of success, of properly exposing enough people, enough times, in a short enough period of time to identify those who allow us to help them with zero emotional connection to what others say or don't say, do or don't do. That's the process, right? Now, can you tell that I'm fired up? Let me take a sip of my coffee here. I am so excited, not just to be on this platform, not just to be part of Organo. I'm just so excited to be here this evening. Now, it's easy. It's easy to understand how someone could be excited at the beginning of something. You know, the beginning of a new year, the beginning of a new job or new business, beginning of a new relationship, that honeymoon excitement where your belief is sky high, your faith is sky high, your patience, your forgiveness, all those things are sky high because you just started. Well, I sit here in front of you, having just celebrated my 10-year anniversary, being a proud, loyal, committed organo distribution partner. When I think back along my journey and my story, which I'll share a little bit with you tonight, I think back a little over 10 years ago. Let me set the stage. I was literally minding my own business. I had left my corporate career behind me. I was out there doing consulting, traveling all over the country, all over the world, blah, blah, blah. And I was not a coffee drinker. I had little or zero understanding or respect for this industry, this proud industry that we've chosen to be a part of. And I was just minding my own business. And I got a phone call from a complete stranger who happened to live in Houston, Texas. Now, this was back in the day when I would actually answer phone calls from numbers I didn't recognize. So I picked up the call, And he and I had independently joined a business networking group, nothing to do with this industry. And he gave me a call. Now, I don't remember what he said, but I do remember how I felt. And for those of you paying attention, the training part of tonight's call has already started. No slides, no pictures, just you and me having a conversation tonight. I don't remember what he said, but I remember how I felt. He said something like, hey, Stephen, you and I just joined this organization. As you know, we're going to have a kickoff event up there in Northern California. I was going through the roster of members and looked at your profile and your picture. Something caught my eye. I thought I'd give you a call. How you doing? And we proceeded to have a brief conversation. Couldn't have lasted more than 10 minutes. Now, somewhere during that conversation, he was asking me what I was doing. I asked him what he was doing. I told him my mom was originally from Houston. He told me some things about his mom. Now, somewhere during that conversation, he said, well, Stephen, I got to go. Posture. Stephen, I got to run, but I'll see you next week at the event up there in Sacramento. And maybe our paths will cross. Maybe we'll get a chance to continue to connect. And who knows, maybe we'll get a few minutes over a cup of coffee. I said, awesome. See you next week. Now, pay attention. Note, he did not say during that initial conversation, hey, Stephen, by the way, do you happen to keep your income options open outside of what you're doing right now? He did not say, hey, Stephen, knowing what you know now about Starbucks, if you could have gone back to the very beginning of Starbucks and invested, would you have done so? He didn't say those things. Not that those approaches don't work and haven't worked with some people at some times, but if he had come at me with those lines, especially that initial conversation, I would have completely shut down mentally, and I probably would not have even wanted to have a conversation with him. All he did with the complete stranger in a few short minutes was build some relationship of credibility and trust, treating me like a human being, had a whole bunch of posture, and set the time that our paths were going to cross again. So fast forward, the next week comes. It was an event for an organization I had just joined. I only knew one person who was part of that thing. And now that I think about it, it's interesting. It's funny. My entire organo journey began at an event. Hint, hint, clue, clue. And it wasn't even an organo event. Now, I only knew one person. This event, by the way, was 90 miles away from my house. I just joined an organization, looked like something I'd benefit from, didn't cost any money, looked like there's some pretty cool people who were going to be a part of it, some cool people who were going to be at the event. I decided to go. It was November, and if I remember correctly, it was raining. So I drove 90 miles. I get to the event. I get there early, as I usually do. I volunteer, even though I didn't know anybody, which I usually do. And guess what they did? They assigned me, just randomly, to this complete stranger who had called me the week before, and we had a few more minutes to hang out. Now, we did not have a lot of time together. Maybe a few minutes before, the program was packed. Maybe a few minutes after, next morning he hopped on a plane and left. So we did not have a lot of time to talk. And I don't remember what we said during those brief conversations, but I remember how I felt. He said some things, asked me about what I was doing, and I told him what I was doing, and he asked me what type of project I had coming up. And I asked him, hey, by the way, what projects do you have coming up? He said, well, Stephen, that's funny. You should ask. He waited for me to ask. He set the stage for me to ask him what was coming up. He said something like, well, as a matter of fact, I'm in the pre-launch of what I believe to be the biggest business project of my career. I said, really? What's that? I don't have a lot of time to talk about it, but I didn't really think that you'd be interested, but are you actually open to getting information about what this is all about and how you might be able to, who knows, benefit from someday? I said, yeah. How can I get the information? You got a meeting or something? He said, yeah, we have a meeting coming up this Sunday at 7 o'clock. Can you come? I said, I guess so. Sure. Where is it? He said, Houston Galleria. I'm sorry, where? Oh, Houston Galleria. It's in Houston, Texas. Houston, where? We're in California. I live in California. He said, yeah, I know. Can you come? I don't know what got into me. something I've never done before, and for the most part, I've never done since. I got on a plane, went to another city, and went to an opportunity meeting for something I was not even looking for, but there was just something about the energy and the belief and the excitement and who this person was and what he was talking about that I just wanted to be a part of it. So here I am, upper level, little blue room, Houston Galleria. Here's another thing he told me. He said he was talking about all the people who were going to be part of this launch. Now, the company was already in place from the previous year, but the team that he was going to be launching with was this big team of people who he'd worked with before, and it was not just him. It was pretty exciting. I said, wow, that's great. And he talked about how he looked forward to introducing all these people to me. So I arrive in this little blue room, Houston Galleria, and I look around, and there are maybe 15 people. And I'm not sure how much of this I said out loud or how much I actually was just thinking in my head, but it's like, where are all the people? Oh, they couldn't make it. I'm sorry. You mean the people who already knew and trusted you, who live here in Houston, Texas, they couldn't drive across town and I got on a plane and flew all the way over here? Yeah, they couldn't come. Grab a seat. We're getting ready to start. My head is spinning right now. You can imagine. This is a complete stranger 2 weeks ago. So I allowed myself to calm and feel what was going on in the room and hopefully receive the information that I came all the way here to get with an open mind and an open heart. I don't remember what was said during that meeting, but I remember how I felt. Now, I go up there, didn't sit in front. I probably had my arms crossed. I was sitting maybe in the middle and the back. Then this kid, forgive me, anybody who's young enough to be my daughter or my son, I kind of think of them as a kid. Then this kid, who turns out to be my guy's sponsor, gets up on stage and starts talking. And I'm thinking to myself, how can this kid be my guy's sponsor? He's younger than, this doesn't make any sense. He gets up on stage and starts drawing circles before PowerPoint, drawing circles, talking about 2x2, talking about some miracle, something called gamma sperm. I don't know what's going on. But there was something happening in that room. There was a sense of excitement, a sense of belief, a sense of, we don't care if you be a part of this or not. We're getting ready to do something. We just want to show it to you. What do you think? And I became an organo distribution partner. November 15th, 2009. Sometime during that night, it was right before midnight. For some reason, they were entering all this stuff into the computer before it turned midnight. And this guy came in with a t-shirt and jeans, nice watch. And they introduced me to this guy too. He seemed kind of important. He was just a distributor. But there was all this stuff going on. And here's a thought that I had. There's so many things that I did wrong to get to this point. But I did do a few things right. So here's what I'm thinking. I started out with the wrong mindset. I started off with the wrong perspective. I'm looking around the room. Most of these people are younger than me. I'm thinking to myself, these are the leaders? These are the people making all the money? I'm going to kill this. I have more education than they do. I have more background than they do. I probably have more connections and influence than they do. I definitely can speak better than they can. I'm going to kill this. What's the first level of leadership? $14,000 in volume before Sapphire, before we call it Sapphire. What do I have to do to get that? Oh, sponsor 10 to 12 people within a 36-day period of time. I can kill this. That's my mindset. Luckily, I didn't say that, but that's what I was thinking. So I'm all excited. I'm all believing. I don't even think they had coffee back then at that location. I fly back to California, and I leave the excitement. I leave the belief. I leave the energy. I leave the fire that was happening there in that little blue room in Houston, Texas. I fly all the way back to California, and I proceed to throw up over everybody and everything that I knew and didn't know, see and didn't see. It was a mess. I was talking too much. I was chasing too much. I was posting too much. I invited everybody I knew to everything that I did, and I was surprised that no one would show. It was an absolute mess. I did so many things wrong. I did all my research. I could tell you about the comp plan backwards and forwards. I could calculate the global pool bonus. I knew all this thing now about this organic nutrient called Ganoderm and the history and all this kind of stuff. I was dangerous, literally dangerous. And I couldn't figure out why it wasn't happening for me. And in that room, I was thinking to myself from a time frame when I was back there in Houston, that original meeting, how long should this really take me? At least to hit the first level. I was thinking, I don't know, 30 days, 60 at the most, but probably 30. It didn't take me 30 days to go what we now call Sapphire. It only took me 3 months to get my dual team. It took me 3 months to get my dual team. That shouldn't have even counted, because the first person I sponsored was my son, and I basically forced him to get into business. The second person that I sponsored was a friend and business partner, and I basically begged her to get into the business. So I was a mess. I did so many things wrong, but I did a few things right. I stayed in constant communication with my success coach. I worked the business every single day. I went out there and I met new people. I sampled my product. I listened to personal development, people I'd never heard of before. Napoleon Hill, Earl Nightingale, Tony Robbins, all those people. I started listening to it over and over and over again, and I attended every single event. There was not much going on in California, let alone anywhere at the time. This is before any diamonds. There was a group in Sacramento. They had a Thursday evening presentation, and they had a Saturday morning presentation followed by training. That group was 75 miles away from my house. They charged $10 for each event. Twice a week, got in my car, drove all the way to Sacramento, attended those events, usually in the beginning by myself, spent the $10, and I did that every single week for years until they shut that place down. So I did a few things right. Eventually, started sponsoring some people, started seeing some success, some things were going on, and I hit Sapphire. Didn't take me 30 days. It took me 11 months. And I didn't crush it, by the way. October 31st, 2010, at 11:50 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, by the way, with $14,120 of volume. I didn't crush anything. I barely made it. But hey, I'm Sapphire. Guess what I did? Started doing things wrong again. First of all, I celebrated. It was celebrate good times. I was celebrating. Why not? I've arrived. I got people in my group. We got some things going on. People are making money. I'm making some money. I can take off my recruiting hat, put back my nice, comfortable management hat. I got some people to manage now. I know all about managing. Oh my goodness. I did so many things wrong. Success is happening all around me. People are now becoming diamonds. People are now hitting all the different levels of accomplishment. And I'm barely, at the time, I couldn't understand what was going on. I was doing so many things wrong. I ignored the laws of building. There are laws in this universe, and there are laws in this building, in this business. Laws of building, 3 laws. A recruit is not a recruit until I empower them to get their dual team. Didn't do that. Once I got somebody in, celebrated and moved on. Law number 2, a leg of business is not a leg of business until I empower that leg to go 4 unit levels deep. Because when you drive a leg of business 4 levels deep, you'll find at least one person who will duplicate, possibly taking them to Sapphire. Law number 3, a team is not a team until I have empowered them to go 8 unit levels deep, thereby finding another person to duplicate, probably going Sapphire. And when you take a leg of business 8 levels deep, especially within a reasonable period of time, let's just say 3 to 6 months, that leg of business should pay you for a very long time, possibly forever. So I ignored the laws of business. I also ignored the vital signs. Have a lot of people in the healthcare profession on this call in our organization, out there in this industry. I ignored the vital signs. Vital sign number 1, how many people, starting with me, are showing the plan at least 4 times a week? 4 times a week, that's a lot. 4 times a week is part-time. Don't have time for calendar training this time, but let's just walk people through what this business really should be. Part-time, 4 times a week. The way things are set up now with technology, it really shouldn't take more than 20, maybe 30 minutes tops to show the entire presentation, especially the first time. Let's just say you talk a lot or you waste time and you take a whole hour. Let's also pretend that you actually invite people to attend your call or your meeting or your event, and you invest an hour per event to actually have somebody show up. That's 2 hours for one exposure, for one event. 2 hours times 4 times a week, that's 8 hours. Question I used to ask myself, I ask it recently all the time. Hey, Stephen, are your dreams and goals big enough, important enough to carve out 8 to 10, 10 to 12, but let's just say 8 hours out of your schedule to properly expose enough people? Exposure. So vital sign number 2, how many tools are flowing through my organization? Now, the number 1 tool always has been, always will be product. Maybe it's your coffee samples, maybe it's your BU samples, maybe it's any literature you might have, maybe it's all those amazing, high quality, world-class videos that we have out there on YouTube, tools that are flowing through your organization out into the universe so that people can actually know that we exist, how we've helped others, how we're helping people, how we might be able to help them, how many tools are flowing through your organization. Vital sign number 3 is how many people, starting with me, are attending the events. Now that I think about it, maybe I didn't ignore the vital signs. I think what actually happened is I was distracted. I was distracted by short-term success, by success that was done the wrong way, improperly. Because I was seeing success then. My wife and I were members of the OG Benz Club, all that kind of cool stuff. We're making money, we're sponsoring people, even people are going Sapphire in the organization. I was distracted. Somebody who used to be, for a period of time, the number 1 income earner in the entire world, he said during a leadership meeting, volume is the least accurate indicator of the health and success of your business. Say that again. I haven't heard it very often. It might have been just maybe 1 meeting I heard it. Volume is the least accurate indicator of the health and success of your business. Now, I can't remember if I heard that before or after I started seeing my initial success, but it wouldn't have mattered because what are you talking about? I'm making money. They're making money. We got stuff going on. I am successful. What are you talking about vital signs? I don't need to talk about vital signs. Don't ignore the vital signs. All these people on the call who know about health and wellness, you go in to see a physician, go into a hospital, emergency room, the first thing they do is check your vital signs. So what are the vital signs of your organization, regardless on how successful you might feel and it might seem on the surface? I could have a day-long training talking just about all the things I did wrong. I'll maybe share a couple more. I forgot or ignored the 3 things that I must always remember. 3 things must always remember. Proper exposure is everything. Now, most of us out there who've learned this concept, learned it as exposure is everything. I don't think that's correct. Because some people, some of us, have exposed a lot of people, but if we do it the wrong way, you could expose the whole world, throwing up over everybody, telling everybody everything that you're doing, calling them over and over and over again when they've proven that it's not their time right now. Proper exposure is everything. Second thing to remember, proper follow-up is where the fortune is. Fortune is in the proper follow-up. And the third is that we work with the willing. So many things that I did wrong, especially during my early years. But guess what? I did a few things right. I stayed in constant communication with my success coach, often every single day. I worked the business, prospected, sampled, showed the presentation every single day. I did personal development for hours and hours, still do, hours and hours and hours and hours every single day. And I attended every single event. I would drive all the way to San Diego to see, at the time, a Black Diamond. I would attend meetings that were 100% in Spanish. And yo no hablo español, except for that, but I was there for the energy, for the feeling, for the excitement, just to be part of something. I flew to every single event. Now, right now, we have regional events all over the world, even the ones here in North America, except for a couple of regional ones. For the most part, we're doing it twice a year. Back in the day, OGs remember this, we were having our events every 2 to 3 months. Every 2 to 3 months, all of them in Houston, Texas. Airplane, hotel, taxi, before Uber, all the stuff pulling me away from my home, my family, my market. We were doing that every 2 to 3 months, but I went to every single event, smiling, serving, often, by myself, sharing rooms with other people, doing all the things, sowing the seeds, paying the price. You want success? You got to pay the price. Now, hopefully, what I'm saying here is not scaring anybody. My goal tonight, by being transparent, how's the transparency going? By being transparent and sharing with you how many things I did wrong, I want to comfort you, because I found that when I know that somebody else is going through the same thing that I'm going through, or been through, or getting ready to go through, I feel comforted, because I don't know about you, it can be lonely out there. Any OG orphans out there? I won't go into that, but hey, it can be lonely out there. And even when you have a group nearby, if you're not the one who's seeing success, if your success, I won't say upline, but your senior business partners in a different city, in a different state, in a different country, it can feel lonely. So you have to be able to understand that you can do things wrong, but you got to do things right. And the purpose of tonight's call for me is to share with you that as long as you're doing something and you're messing things up, that will position you to at least do a few things right. We're all in the same situation. Now, what do I mean by that? We're all in the same situation. Without knowing who's on this call live, who's going to hop on and check this out later on. Here's what I know about us. We're all going through the same thing. Shall I list them? Short-term financial challenges. And make no mistake, no matter how well one is doing, if they have goals that they can't finance, that's a financial challenge. Maybe you're paying your bills, maybe life is good, maybe you're already living that one lifestyle, but if there are people who you want to help, maybe family, maybe community, maybe a cause, but you can't do that, that's a financial challenge. So challenge number one that we're all going through, short-term financial challenges. Health challenge for us are people we care about, because we know if the enemy can't get to us, they're going to attack somebody who we love. Relationships, ups and downs. Challenges at your work or at your business, and we'll just throw in the spiritual, let's just say, journey to round it up. Have I covered what is distracting the majority of people who are out there? Short-term financial challenges, health challenges for us and people we care about, relationship ups and downs, the challenges at work or business, spiritual. We're all going through the same thing. And here's what I want you to know, most importantly, and remember, you know this, but this is a reminder. All those people who are out there, all those people who we are seeking to help, who we know can benefit from what we're doing, they're going through all of that at the same time. They're going through that too. But they're not surrounded with amazing servant leaders. They're not part of the Organo family. They're not doing personal development. So when you come on your horse with your solution on how they can lose weight, how they can get healthy, how they can travel all over the world, how they can get rid of their boss, all those things help them from a health situation. They are so getting beat up from all different directions with life, and they don't have a support system around them, and they're not doing personal development. No wonder they don't answer your call. No wonder they don't hop on a call or a webinar or an event. No wonder they don't return. No wonder once they see it, they disappear. Guess what? Life happened. We have to understand that, and we have to do our job of properly connecting with another human being, properly understanding that before we can start presenting how great of an answer Organo is, and it is, that we have to build a relationship of credibility and trust. Have somebody actually trust us enough, hopefully after we've been transparent at least a little bit, to show why we're a part of this, why we believe this, who we want to help, where we want to go. Maybe, just maybe, they'll share with us what's going on. Maybe they'll share with us, with our help, what they really want to achieve, who they really want to help, how they really want to leave. But none of that's going to happen if you did it like me in the very beginning and just threw up all over them out the gate. Properly exposing enough people, enough times, in a short enough period of time to identify those people who allow us to help them with zero emotional connection to what other people say or don't say, do or don't do. We're all in the same situation. We're also in the same situation in that we all want the same thing. No matter how well you might be doing, and there are a lot of people out there, a lot of people in this company who are doing extremely well all over the country, all over the world. Congratulations, keep it up. No matter how well you're doing or how challenging things are, I know that we want 2020 and beyond to be even better, right? So we want 2020 to be better, maybe the best year so far, which means we have to do, guess what? The same stuff, the same activity, following the process. We all have to do the same thing. What's the same thing? I'll say it again. Properly expose. enough people, enough times, in a short enough period of time to identify those who allow us to help them. Well, how many is enough, Stephen? I don't know. All I know is it's more than what we've been doing, especially recently. It's more than what we're doing right now. It's more. Now, I'm going to throw a number out there. Disclaimer, any specifics with regards to building your business, find your success partner, your senior business partner who's achieved what you want to achieve, and ask them what to do specifically. But I'm going to throw out a number because here's a question that I ask people in my organization. Here's a question I ask myself all the time. Stephen, are your dreams and goals big enough, important enough for you to take 120 people through the process, no matter what they decide at the end? Are they big enough to take 120 people through the process within at least a 30 to 60 day period of time, preferably 30? Very simple question. I won't ask you the answer to that question, and I'm sure as transparent as I'm on this call, I'm not going to tell you my answer. It ain't pretty. Why do I say 120? Some of you know why it's 120. Most of you don't anymore. But I'm going to tell you. Jim Rohn, law of ratio. Do something enough times, the ratio appears. Keep doing it, the ratio improves. So when, not if, when we properly take somebody through the process, which is my definition of an exposure, it's actually multiple times. When I take 10 people properly through the system of exposure, I should find at least one person who will allow me to help them. That's a good gauge until we discover what our real number is. We all have a number. Do you know yours? If you don't, start out with 1 out of 10. So we take 120 people through the process in a short period of time, 30 to 60 days, preferably 30. That means we should find at least 12 people to identify who allow us to help them. Guess what they'll do? 3 to 4 are going to quit. Thanks for playing. Enjoy the coffee. 3 to 4 are going to get distracted with life. If you treat them properly, if you love them where they are, if you just treat them as human beings, they'll come back. 3 to 4 will actually do something. Will actually duplicate the system. If I'm doing it 4 times a week, and each of my, let's just say 3, are doing at least once, my organization, my new organization, which is going to be the foundation for the new momentum that's going to take me and my new people where I want to go, where I say I want to go, that means we're doing it 4 times a week. If every time we do it in front of a group of people, we're getting at least 1,000 points of production 4 times a week, 1,000 per event, 4 events, 4,000 a week, 4 weeks, 16,000. Guess what that is? Not only Sapphire, not only you qualify for all kind of cool stuff, but now you have momentum. We're all in the same place. Isn't that exciting? And it doesn't matter where your organization is, how long you've been in the business, what your back office is showing. None of that matters. This is the most patient, the most forgiving business company I have ever seen. You can mess up something for years and decide tonight that tonight's the night. I draw a line in the sand. I'm committed to the process. I'm going to get this done. And all of a sudden, amazing things happen. 10 years. 10 years is, as I would say with some people, 10 years is a minute. I had so many excuses that I could have used to quit. I could have quit when my initial warm market rounded off everybody. For the most part, didn't even want to look at the business. When all the people who I thought, maybe they did, maybe they still do, when all those people who I thought were going to be part of my initial 10 to 12, They didn't even look at my business. Those who did weren't interested, wouldn't even buy my product. I could have quit right away. Just checked it off. Made a mistake. Been there, done that. Keep going, being successful, doing other stuff. I could have quit then. When I started seeing initial success, and I was actually helping other people go Sapphire. We've had 12, 13, I don't know, people in my organization go Sapphire, 3 went Ruby, including myself. We've done a few things. But when my first leaders started to quit, forgive me, when the first people started to leave, I didn't quit. Guess what I did? I kept on going. When my sponsor left, the person who basically convinced me to get in the business shared his vision on what we were going to do, all the people were going to help. When he left, guess what I did? I kept going. When people who I trusted and respected, who I was arm in arm with in this business, when they started calling me from other companies, telling me how good it was over there, starting to de-edify the people who I know and love and still protect over here, and they started saying cute things like, oh man, you don't need to pay anything. We'll just lock in a position here and we'll just do stuff below you, and then you can decide. What did I do? First of all, no thank you for that poison. I kept going. When my mom got sick and she needed 24/7 care by my father and by myself, guess what I did? I kept going. When my sponsor's sponsor left, and if I said quit before, I apologize. When my sponsor's sponsor left, guess what I did? I kept going. When my volume started to go backwards, because it goes backwards. Things go up, things go down. Guess what? Stick around. They go up again. They go down a little bit. They go up again. But I wasn't prepared for that. My mindset was not right. My expectations were not right. So it messed me up. I thought I was going to grow forever. How naive was I? When my volume started to go backwards, I kept going. When my mom passed away, the angel of my life, the person who had so many things I wanted to do for while she was here, when she passed away, guess what I did? I kept going. When my sponsor's sponsor left, guess what I did? I kept going. And between you and me, I know no one else is listening, between you and me, that stranger who called me out of the blue from Houston, Texas, he became one of the early diamonds in this business, generating over $200,000 of volume in a calendar month. That kid who got up on stage and did the first presentation, he became a crown diamond in this business, generating over $2 million of business in a calendar month. That guy who came at the end with the t-shirt and the jeans and a nice watch, he became the #1 income earner in the entire world in this business. When he left, guess what I did? I kept going. Why would I go when they proved that this worked? When the leadership, the majority leadership, ownership of Organo transitioned from Mr. Bernard Chua to Mr. Paul Caldwell, people panicking, people going on the ledges. That was one of the most exciting days of my life. For not why you think. I want you to imagine that you have a man as great and as humble and as amazing as Mr. Bernard Chua. And you have a vision of bringing the treasures of the earth to the people of the world, leveraging this business model to help countless people all over the world. And you've built an organization that is in 30 plus countries, that's generated billions of dollars of sales, that's created so many millionaires, I don't even know exactly what the number is. You create that from scratch with a lot of help, and you hand over your baby, you pass the baton to another man. Do you know how special that person has to be for you to hand over your baby, your vision that you know is a legacy company? Do you know how special Mr. Caldwell has to be, who has the experience in this industry, in the world of finance? Do you know how special he is? I was excited. Here's the other reason I was excited. I don't believe, one man's personal opinion, I don't believe that there is a single human being on this planet who has been able to do more proper due diligence on where this company really is than Mr. Paul Caldwell. Access to everything. Talk to everybody. Looked under the sheets, under the hood, in the closet, all the stuff going on. Guess what he said? I'm in. I'm all in on the vision, on the principles, on the process. I believe in Organo. I'm all in. And what has he been able to achieve in the past 18 months? Bringing on the world's greatest skincare line, BU, launching a transformative travel package that's going to revolutionize the industry, the strategic partnerships that we have with Visa and JP Morgan and Chase and IBM. Are you kidding me? I have no idea what's getting ready to happen, which means that most people out there really don't have a clue. Are you kidding me? Do you know what is getting ready to happen? Can you tell I'm excited? And I've been in this thing for 10 years. I am so happy and grateful. I'm happy and grateful for my wife, Noriko, of 34 and a half years, who has put up with me, who has always supported me. I'm happy and grateful for Mr. Paul Caldwell and his leadership team and his partners for all the work that he's been doing. And nobody has any idea on how hard they're working behind the scenes to fix this and fix that. And here's the perspective that I have. You can borrow if you want to. There's a brand new building, relatively new, in San Francisco, California. It's the Salesforce Tower. It is 61 floors. It is now the tallest building, changed the landscape in San Francisco. I think it took them maybe 5 or 6 years to build. I saw it almost every single day. For the first 4, maybe 5 years, you could not see anything because they were building the foundation. So many people have gone off and done so many other things, and then other things, and then other things, because they thought it was the end, when all we've been doing these past 10, 12 years has been building the foundation for now what's getting ready to happen. Are you kidding me? What's getting ready to happen? I am so happy and grateful and appreciative to Mr. Caldwell and his team. I am so happy and grateful for Mr. Bernard Chu and his amazing wife, Adeline, for taking the vision that was just in his heart, in his spirit, and now having positively impacted so many people's lives. I have no idea all that they've been through, all of the sacrifices, and I just send them my love and prayers every single day. I'm happy and grateful for Shella Chua, who is still in the trenches doing all the work. She's a working mom, by the way. Have you seen her amazing children? Family still growing, and she's on the side building a multi-billion-dollar company. Thanks, Shella. We love you. All the people at corporate, whether it's Miss Christelle, my brother Edward Vargas, who works so hard behind the scenes, all those people at the corporate office who do so much every single day. Guess who they're doing all this for? For us. All the work, all the sacrifice, all the things they hand it over to us and say, all you have to do is share this amazing product with people who are already consuming it, by the way. Get their honest opinion on how it tastes, how it makes them feel, what they think about the business opportunity. Those who do, awesome. Those who don't, awesome. That's all we have to do. They've done the real work. I'm so happy and grateful for people like Crown Ambassador, Ms. Blanca Sectores. I am so proud of you. I am so proud of you. I remember when she was afraid to talk in front of a room for the most part. And now she is leading armies of people all over the world, positively impacting so many people's lives. Thank you, Ms. Sectores. I'm so happy and grateful for Ms. Lilia Bautista, Crown, Diamond. I think she's a great grandmother. I know she's a grandmother of many children. Thanks, Ms. Bautista. I'm so happy and grateful for our blue diamonds all over the world. Stephen Deanna Nielsen, Casey Nielsen Martin. Hey, Cole, we love you too. Dr. Bob Rakowski, Dr. Bob and Kelly Rakowski. All the blue diamonds who are in Europe and in Asia. Forgive me, I don't know how to pronounce your names, but I love you. I'm so happy and grateful for one of our newest diamonds, Miss Diane Solano, Odile Perez, Alison Ngonga. There are too many people to name. I am so happy and grateful for those of you who are out there. But I'm also happy and grateful, and I love with all of my heart those of you who are committed to the vision of bringing the treasures of the earth to the people of the world, who are committed to our principles of loyalty, unity, edification, honesty, integrity, transparency. I don't know who on this call or who will hear this recording or who's out there in Organo or coming to Organo. I don't know what your name is. Who knows? Maybe it's Sachin. Maybe it's Jacob, maybe it's Nam, maybe it's Fidelia, maybe it's Benet, maybe it's Derwin, I don't know. Maybe it's LaDondra or Andre or Gabby or Jose or Juan or Andrew and Lamore are brand new rubies in this company. I don't know what your name is. I don't know who you are. All I know is there are people who are part of the movement that is just beginning and that you will be the new leaders of Organo, because with success must come succession. So when the branches, when the leaves fall, when the branches break off, when all that kind of stuff, guess what's still standing tall? The trunk of Organo. I am so happy and grateful to have been on this platform. It was a dream of mine. I don't know, I guess that's a silly dream. But for 10 years, it's always been a dream and a goal to be on this call, sharing whatever I have to share with the people out there and being on the same platform as people who have positively impacted my life and my family's life and so many lives all over the world. I am so humbled and pleased to have been here. And I'm excited. I hope you are too. I love you. I believe in you. That's it. Let's have a great rest of the year. Hit the ground running. Are you willing to properly expose enough people, enough times, in a short enough period of time to simply identify those who allow us to help them and have zero emotional connection to what they do or don't do, say or don't say? I know that you do. Much love to you. That's it. Good night.